Now, where are you from?
From, well, multiple places. I want to say from Centreville first, Cahokia, Belleville, East St. Louis. Like I lived everywhere on the east side. So from everywhere, everybody, you know, some people I mess with will know me, but most won't, because I'm really not that talkative when it comes to guys and nothing like that, but all the girls will for sure.
So where were you born?
I was born in Belleville, Illinois.
And currently living at?
Centreville.
Okay. And that's close to St. Louis?
Yeah, that's like about 7 minutes away from St. Louis, right by East St. Louis.
So it's by East St.
Yeah,
Louis.
it's on that side. It's on Illinois.
East St.
side.
Louis, Illinois.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Got you. So would it be considered a suburb of East St. Louis, or no, it's its own city?
It's its own city.
Okay. Got you. Now, how far from Belleville? Belleville. How far from Belleville, where you were born, to where you're currently living, how far apart are those cities?
Like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So right there.
It's all close.
I see, I got you. Now, what was it like for you growing up where you were born to where you're living now? Can you paint the picture for us? What was that like for you growing up in those areas you mentioned? You named several areas.
It was cool, you know. First, I went to high school in Cahokia, so, you know, playing sports, you know, being a fanatic guy like that, you know, but it was cool. I guess, you know, you hang around most of the time, you know, track stars and basketball players and football motherfuckers, so, you know, we were cool like that and young, so we really weren't doing too much. You know, I didn't smoke or drink or nothing, so the people I hung around was like mostly, you know, athletic people, you know, or you got a couple motherfuckers that really just don't do shit but get in trouble. But other than that, in Cahokia, then I transferred. I went to Cahokia for like 3 years, you know, Cahokia High School. Then I transferred to Belleville West, which, you know, I went up there. I was planning on playing basketball and running track and shit, but I ended up getting expelled for some dumb shit I shouldn't have did, you know. Pretty boy shit.
And you did alternative school?
I did, I don't know if it was called alternative school. I think it was, but
usually when someone gets expelled from public school, they have to end up going to an alternative school. I think if they live in the same area, like if you move and go somewhere else, you don't got to go to an alternative school, I don't think. But most people I talk to, when they get expelled from a public school, they have to end up doing alternative school.
It was like one guy though. It was like they had an alternative school, and the school I went to, it was like one person. Like it was me and him, me and a teacher. It wasn't no class. You know, they had an alternative school where they had students, multiple students. But I think it was, I don't know what it was, because I only had a semester to do left, so they really.
So maybe this was like a special instance.
Yeah.
To help you graduate.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you get expelled for?
Pretty boy shit, man. Getting some head. I got expelled for getting head. Fucked my whole life up. You know, I feel like I would have been a track star, doing something. You know, playing basketball somewhere or something. But fucked my whole life up for sure.
Oral sex.
Oral sex. Yeah, I was going behind the bleachers. I mean, we went behind the stairs, and I'm expecting just to kiss on her or some shit. Like, you know, I ain't think about that. You know, getting head. That was the first time I ever got some head in school. I'm like, damn. You know, we kissing and shit, and she like, you know, what else we finna do? I'm like, you know, I thought we was doing it. Apparently we wasn't. She went down. You know, we started doing that shit like every other day. You know, so eventually, we skipping class. Well, it wasn't skipping class. It was like the recess. Like after lunch, we have a rest period or whatever where you can do your homework or whatever you're doing. So we used to act like we going to the nurse's office, head hurting or some fake ass shit, and do that. Well, this particular day, a teacher, her fat ass was wearing some fucking windbreakers. I could still hit them bitches, you know. And she stopped for a minute, you know, still getting this shit. And she came back there and seen it. I felt like I should have ran though. I think if I would have ran out the fucking door, it would have changed my life.
So she's catching you while you're in the moment.
She's thinking everything I had.
So she's seeing you, and you stop in the middle of it, or you finish up and then she reprimands you? Or?
I stopped. I ain't keep going. I had to stop. She's seen it.
So I imagine not just you got expelled, she got expelled too?
I think she went to the alternative school. Yeah.
Okay.
I think she had another year left or something.
So you could have gotten an athletic scholarship?
Yeah, for sure. I think I would have.
And this oral sex incident.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Supreme athlete.
With a semester left.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I was the best, like, dunker in my school, like, you know, athlete. You know, then, you know, you kind of tall or whatever, fast too, like playing basketball, all that shit. People used to come up to me like, bro, you could be the best in the nation, you know what I'm saying, for as like basketball. But one thing I lacked was confidence. That was huge. You know, I was used to playing basketball in my yard by myself. You know, people come over and be the best, you know, for as anybody come over, destroying them, you know what I mean? But looking in those bleachers, people don't never talk about that, but that shit get deep, you know. I wasn't in AAU as a kid. I wasn't in none of that. First time I ever played in front of people was, I was forced out there, you know, varsity, you know, in summer league, and, you know, seeing people watching me, like, that shit fucked me up. I couldn't play. I wasn't the same player. I'm too busy looking in the mirror, you know, to see how my jersey fit and feeling weird and shit like that. I don't know. Before it's track, that shit was cool though. All that shit. Football for sure. That was my sport for sure.
Somebody watching this, let's say it's a pretty popular athletic person, may have a chance to get a scholarship, athletic scholarship. Mm. What do you tell a kid like that to not make the same mistake you did? Any advice there? Because your mistake cost you a possible scholarship.
And if you're in a situation like that, you know you got a future ahead of you, college, you know, you got people depending on you. People want to see you walk across that stage, man. It's deep. It's not just about you, you know. That freaky shit, you can do that shit after school. You ain't got no whip. Most time you in high school, you probably ain't got no car or whatever, so you looking at, let me get one, you know, let me get the cookie while it's hot. Let me, you know what I'm saying, let me go and do what I gotta do and get the fuck up out of there. You know, most of the time, you'll get away with it, but sometimes you won't. For everybody that's looking at it, most of y'all gonna get away with it, but it's gonna be one motherfucker that's watching this that won't. And he gonna throw his life away for nothing. Over some shit he could've did at the crib. Or, you know, at that time, your mom would probably be tripping motherfuckers coming out. Some shit you could've did in your uncle car, somebody car, behind the building. I done did it outside. You ain't nothing wrong with a little fucking suck outside, you good. You know, ain't worth it. That's how I look at it.
You did it on school grounds.
School grounds, fucking up.
This was after school or during school?
During school.
Yeah, because you did mention a nurse thing, so.
Yeah, fucking up.
Pretty tough punishment.
Yeah.
For a little quickie.
Yeah, but I understood.
What was your parents' reaction?
They wasn't too mad.
They wasn't too mad?
They wasn't too mad, but it was, they couldn't see me walk. Like, you know, I'm graduating, so I'm good for as the academics. I'm good. I'm graduating. But them not seeing me walk across that stage, I think my mom not seeing me walk across that stage, I think that was the, you know, that was the most hurtful thing. You know, that's all she wanted. You know, she always used to say that, you know, the diploma is cool, you know. Most people don't have a diploma, but to see you walk across that stage is something totally different, you know.
Wasn't mad at the fact of the potential loss of a scholarship? True. Maybe not mad, maybe
she
disappointed.
Yeah, but she knew I still went to school, but, you know, it was just a little harder, you know what I'm saying?
Now, you mentioned a couple different areas you said you grew up in. You mentioned, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 different places you moved around to. Mm. Why so much moving? Before we even started talking about the high school incident, why so much moving? You said Belleville?
Belleville.
Belleville, you named another thing, then you named another thing.
Well, high school, Well, when I was in high school, I lived in Cokia, and then I transferred to, well, I lived in Cokia and Centreville when I was in high school. Then I transferred to Belleville West. So those were those two cities coming in at. And then after that, I lived in East St. Louis for probably like 5-6 months. So I really don't say that city, but you know, I lived out there for a minute.
I hear it's rough out there.
It's everywhere out there. It's rough. You know, Belleville probably the coolest, but you know, certain places in Belleville, you know, it goes down. You know.
But I hear a bunch of people whenever they talk about East St. Louis, it does have a reputation, a rough reputation.
True. I mean, it do. You know, it goes down out there, but it's not like Chicago or nothing like that. You know, it ain't really, or L.A. or you know what I mean. Places like it's about colors and shit like that. It ain't really, you know. It's cool though, for sure.
Now, growing up, was it rough for you at all? Did you have a rough upbringing or no?
No, I won't say I had a rough upbringing, but you know, everybody know people, and you hang around people. You go to these projects or whatever. You got cousins and family out there, so you spend time out there. But rough, we had a crib. We probably didn't have as much. Like I was really growing up, I was jealous of people that was in projects. You know, other people, you know, they look at it different. But these motherfuckers had Jordans. These motherfuckers had whatever the fuck they wanted, and I ain't had none of that shit. You know, so I'm wearing these big weak ass shoes while these motherfuckers, they got everything they want. You know, so I feel like they had it better than I did. That's how I looked at it. But
if you were jealous of people that were in the projects, where were you? Were you middle class, lower middle class?
We had a house, but we didn't have too much.
So like you were lower than being in a project? Just explain, why would you be jealous?
Because the rent, they don't, like to me, I don't think they paid like that much rent back then. They wasn't paying them for real. So they was getting the Jordans, they was getting everything they wanted.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I understand.
Motherfuckers was pulling up.
Because you guys had to pay rent, you couldn't get the Jordans and stuff,
so
because they didn't have to pay the rent.
Correct. Your mama had a job. She did not have, I mean, like, in the project, motherfuckers don't have jobs or whatever, and getting assistance is different. When your mama got a job, so she's paying these bills, she can't pay the bills and then provide for all 4 kids, for everything they asking for. You know, Jordans come out every other week, seem like motherfuckers want them bitches, but it seemed like the motherfuckers in the projects, they had them. You know what I mean? So that's how I felt when I was little. You
mentioned you were pretty athletic in school. Did you rap in school?
Yeah, freestyle.
Battled other classmates?
Yeah, used to battle.
Did you win more or lose more?
Back then it was the beginning stage. I probably give like 3 bars or something. I never really went too hard on it. I was more so of a Cassidy fan, and you know, watching battles, and that made me want to battle Loaded Lux and all that. You
kind of look like Cassidy a little bit.
Oh man, I used to wear the hat cocked to the back, sideways. I had Casper. I ain't never had Cassidy, but I had Casper on my hat. You know what I'm saying? Back in the Hustler Law City family. That was my nigga. That's still my nigga. It's an accident. You ain't been the same though. But.
So you graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
You went to college?
Yeah. Pratt Community College. In Kansas.
And you completed that?
No, I didn't complete that.
You dropped out?
I dropped out.
Freshman, sophomore?
Freshman year. I went there for probably like 3 months on a scholarship for theater and arts. So that's something I wanted to do. But college is different, man. Nobody waking you up. You know, you've been spoon-fed your whole life. It's a little different. You know, it's a rude awakening. You know, nobody's calling your name to get up. Don't nobody care if you track star, hoop star, whatever the fuck you think you are. You better get up and go to class. If you don't, then you gonna fail out, and they don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So me, I was fucking. It seemed like I was just out there lost, man. And then on top of that, school. You know, it was different. It was like I wasn't taught anything. I felt like I wasn't taught anything in high school. Like growing up, I didn't learn nothing. That's how I felt. And to be forced into that environment where you got to pick up everything. You know what I mean? You're supposed to know this. Like, they give you a book, you're supposed to know this. Like, you're supposed to be able to pick it up and run with it, Nobody got time to sit down with you. Okay, this is how you break it down step by step. And that's what happened to a lot of black people. I see a lot of my black brothers just going out there and they coming right back. Going to school, oh man, what's up, man? You going to school? Okay, cool. Coming right back. They sitting on the corner, you know what I mean? We feeding the system. It's like, it's a fucking cycle, man. And that's why motherfuckers, like, you see a good nigga, when you growing up, he coolest dude ever, real nigga, give you a shirt off his back, but he changed. Why? Because over time, my nigga, he's been this good guy. Over time, you broke. You having everybody else pulling on you, you know what I'm saying? Like, boy, you know what I'm saying? You ain't no kid no more. It's real world now. You got to get some money. You got to get a job.
You went to a community college.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about a community college, though, is it's supposed to be lesser students per class.
Right.
You know, it's almost like it's a step less than like a major university with a lot more kids in a similar class.
Oh.
So it's almost like I don't want to say, it's almost like a prep for like a major university, in the sense that it's bigger than the high school you went to, but it might not be as big or as crazy or as confusing in size as it is like a full major university.
Right.
So even though you went to a community college,
I wasn't ready for the prep.
I understand some of those feelings you're mentioning about, hey, you're supposed to know this and it's a different world, but it's kind of like I don't want to say a baby university, but that's what I'm more trying to give an analogy of. It's like a middle step between high school and a full major university,
right,
where there's a lot going on.
What I'm telling you is, we didn't learn nothing in high school. So step, middle step, halfway step, no step. If they're not teaching you nothing, then it don't matter what kind of step it is. You know what I mean?
I can understand.
You're gonna fuck up and you're gonna be back out here.
I can understand those feelings as well too.
Most of them don't have the intellect to be behind the mic. They're actually doing what you saying behind the mic in front of it, outside, robbing, stealing, killing. You rapping about it, they doing it. You know what I mean? Because they actually trying to make it happen.
I took Spanish class for 3 years. I don't know any Spanish. I feel like I went to that class, it was like an elective, and I feel like I cheated or BS'd my way through it, and I didn't apply myself, and even though I went to Spanish for 3 years, if you ask me today anything about Spanish, the language and stuff, I couldn't tell you anything about it because I didn't apply myself, and I didn't, what you said, you didn't learn anything.
I wish I could do it over. I would study.
So you would apply yourself.
I would apply myself. I would study so much, man, try to ace every test.
You know what another example is that I can give you on this similar note is computer class, where they teach you how to type on a computer.
Yeah.
It was so easy to cheat in there. And it was like one of those electives people took because it was easy and you could get away with it and you can cheat your way through it.
Right.
But I didn't know how to really type on a computer. I was one of those, you press a letter per finger type of person. And I said, I really want to learn this because I really want to type. And I want to learn how to type with my eyes closed. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I applied myself when pretty much everybody in the class was cheating and not really caring and applying themselves. And now I can really type very fast with my eyes closed because I really did those lessons and I really learned it.
Right.
But I know a bunch of people that are they went to that same class, probably couldn't type like me because they didn't apply themselves.
Right.
They didn't learn anything. They just cheated and BS'd their way through it.
Yeah, same thing I did in computer class.
So you were one of those people.
I was one of those cheaters, for sure.
And now you can't really type that fast or that well on a computer keyboard. Exactly.
I can do a little bit, but no, not where I was supposed to be, for sure.
Now, okay, what was your parents' reaction to you dropping out of college?
I went off to college, like basically I was staying with my dad for the first time ever, living with him, and he took me to college. But when I dropped out, my mom came and got me, so she was happy to, see me or whatever, you know. So it wasn't that bad.
So after college, what happens? You drop out, and are you in the streets? Are you getting a job and doing a job? Are you going straight into music and the rap career? Fill me in.
I was working. I think I was working at Cracker Barrel. I believe that was my first job. You know, selling a little bit, like not for real, but doing that just to, I guess, that cause people around me smoke, so.
Selling drugs.
Yeah, doing, you know, selling
on a light
drugs,
scale.
Lean, all that.
Oh.
Like, just cause people around me did it. You know what I mean? It wasn't. I understood, like, you know, that's not something I want to do, but.
So you didn't do that very heavily.
Demand, huh?
You didn't do that very heavily.
No, I don't consider like an ounce of pint of stuff, you know, heavy.
But if you get caught,
you fuck your whole life up.
It's a risky avenue. There's consequences.
Sure.
There's possible violence. There's possible jail time, prison time.
Yeah. Once you get a felony, you know, you over it.
Why go that route then, knowing that? Why take the risk and go that avenue? Why not just legal job, nothing to worry about? I mean, you have other things to worry about, but you don't have to worry about looking over your shoulder. Right. You don't have to worry about, can I get in trouble for this? You don't
really,
have to
when I sold
jail time,
when I sold like weed and like coke, it was just to people I knew. Like it wasn't to like friends for real. I don't have friends like that. I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? So it was just the people that was like related to me or like real close, like brothers. You know what I mean? So I understand what you're saying, but I felt like I was smart enough to, you know, evade the police. And you know, I was right for the most part, but you know, I was wrong. Everybody think that way. You know what I mean? So for everybody to think that way, there's somebody out there and fucked up.
So you might have gotten away with it, but there's other people out there that don't.
Right. 99%.
Any regrets doing that?
Yeah. Because I know what it do to, you know, my people. But weed, I feel like weed is not a drug for real.
Well, it is a drug.
Yeah.
Caffeine in coffee is a drug, stimulant. But it is recreationally legal in a couple states now.
Yeah, certain states. So that's how I mean, looking at like, you know, prescription, like it's a drug, but it helps you, you know. It does more for you than the damage than the other drugs do to people. Other drugs fuck people up.
Was it worth it? Was the risk worth the reward or what you got out of it?
No, it wasn't worth it at all.
Somebody watching this, let's say they have 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot in school, and they just graduated high school. What's your advice to somebody like that?
Go to school. Stay in school. You don't need to have a foot in the streets. Hopefully you ain't saved up whatever you had in the streets. If not, then it's all good because it's going to pay off for you in the long run. No need to try to sell on the side or whatever, you know, because it ain't going to be worth it. You get caught, you fucked up. You know, I'm not going to tell you, you know, what not to do, but if you get caught, you get that felony on you, you fucked up.
Very hard to get a job with a felony.
You fucked up. Bad. You're going to find yourself working with all these other felons and shit in this fucking factory or some shit. Like, doing a job that you never would have wanted to do. You know what I mean? Slaving for pennies. When you could, you know, go to school, get it together, man, have you some kids, family, get married, and be that ordinary Joe, happy.
There are also entrepreneurs. Right. If you're able to create your own company and you're able to create your own, have your own employees or, you know, you could bypass having to get a job with a felony because you're your own boss. You're your own.
That's true. You gotta have money though, don't you?
Do have to have some capital, sure.
You gotta have capital. If you don't have capital, you can't bypass nothing. You gotta go to school. when you go to school, if you got that felony, most of the time the job you're going to school for, you can't get. So I don't care what you come out with, all these trade schools and all that. You got a felony, man, you're done for. We'll see you in white and black stripes.
Or you could become a rapper.
Or you can become a rapper.
There's always that option.
For sure.
But there's a lot of rappers, and very few make it.
True.
It's like the NBA.
Mm.
A lot of people play basketball. Mm. Only a select few can make the NBA.
Right. It's a lot of rappers. Everybody rapping.
A lot of people play basketball.
True.
Everybody plays basketball.
But you know, right now it's like rapping, like everybody rapping. Everybody got the ego. Like, I rap. You know what I mean? I got a video. I'm a rapper. You know what I mean? So I make sure I don't have no ego. You know, I'm nowhere. What I do, I make music for me. Like people, you know, you can critique my music, all that. I don't make it for nobody but me. That's it. I put it out. You know, you can feel how you feel. I make music for girls. I make music for girls, niggas that like girls, pretty boy shit, and me. That's it. Pimp shit. That's it. Like I'm not trying to be the best rapper ever. None of that. I just want to do me, man. I always think about music. It just come to me. I've been in the studio probably like 6 times my whole life, and I'm starting to get it. You know, when it comes, I break it down like hooks, verses, and fucking ad-libs, all that. You know, I feel like I'm start talking about music, man. Maybe just talk forever.